They lied to you about manifestation. For years, they told you to repeat affirmations, visualize your success, and believe with all your heart. And you did. You wrote wish lists. You watched motivational videos. You tried to convince yourself that it worked. But nothing changed. Or worse, things changed for a few days, and then everything went back to exactly how it was before. Do you know why? Because no one explained the real mechanism to you. They gave you the formula without telling you how the engine works. And without understanding the engine, you can turn the key as much as you want. It'll never start. What you're about to discover isn't just another motivational technique. It's a principle that science has only begun to confirm in recent decades. A principle that a Mexican neurophysiologist dedicated his life to studying before he mysteriously disappeared. A principle that, if applied correctly, can produce visible changes within the next 24 hours. I'm not exaggerating, I'm about to show you why. Most people believe that reality is something fixed, something that exists out there, independent of you. You observe it, react to it, adapt to it. But this is an illusion, one of the deepest illusions humanity has ever created. Jacobo Grinberg was a neurophysiologist who devoted 30 years to studying human consciousness, not in traditional laboratories, but at the heart of shamanic traditions, within the hidden mechanisms of perception, and at the boundaries between mind and matter. And what he discovered disturbed many. Grinberg formulated the theory of the neural field. In short, the reality you perceive is not objective. It is a projection of the structure of your mind. What you see, hear, and experience is not the world. It is the world filtered through your beliefs, your expectations, and your unconscious programs. Two people can live in the same city, the same neighborhood, the same house. Yet they live in completely different realities. Why? Because their internal perception selects different aspects of the field of possibilities that surrounds them. This isn't mysticism, it's neurology applied to spirituality. And it changes everything you believe about manifestation. Because if reality is a projection of your mind, then you're not trying to attract something from the outside. You're trying to tune into a frequency where that something already exists. And the problem is that most manifestation techniques completely ignore this step. This is where everyone goes wrong. Affirmations. Repeat. I am rich 100 times, and what does your subconscious do? It laughs in your face, because it knows it's not true. And every time you affirm something that contradicts your deep-seated beliefs, your internal system rejects it as a foreign body. The subconscious doesn't work with logic, it works with consistency. If there's a program inside you that says, money is hard to come by, you can repeat positive affirmations for years. Nothing will change. The program always wins. And this is where the mechanism that no one explains to you comes into play. Your brain has a system called the reticular activating system. It's the filter that decides what deserves your attention and what gets ignored. But it doesn't decide neutrally. It decides based on what your subconscious considers relevant, and what it considers relevant is determined by your beliefs. If you believe that opportunities never come your way, your brain literally erases them from your field of perception. You don't see them. Not because they don't exist, but because they don't match your internal framework. Do you see the problem? It's not that life is denying you things. It's that your internal system filters them out before you can even notice them. But there's more. Questions work completely differently from affirmations. When you ask yourself a question, your brain can't ignore it. It enters a state called an open cognitive loop. And this loop remains active until it finds an answer. It's an automatic mechanism, impossible to block. Science calls this the mere measurement effect. Studies have shown that simply asking a question about a future action significantly increases the likelihood that a person will take that action. The question alone sets off an internal process. Now apply this to manifestation. Instead of saying, I am rich, which the subconscious rejects, ask, why is my financial situation improving so quickly? The brain doesn't respond, that's not true. It responds, let me look for an explanation. And at that moment, it begins to reorganize your perception, your behaviors, and even your body chemistry to find consistency with the question. You're not convincing anyone. You're bypassing the defenses. The secret technique isn't in the words you use. It lies in the state in which you utter them. And there's a specific moment of the day when your subconscious becomes completely vulnerable, the 60 seconds before you fall asleep. This state is called the hypnagogic state. It's the transition between wakefulness and sleep, when brain waves slow down from beta to alpha and then to theta, the same waves that dominated during childhood, when you absorbed everything as absolute truth. In this state, the conscious mind withdraws, and the subconscious remains completely exposed. Grinberg called this space a crack in perception, a moment when the neural field is most sensitive to the influence of consciousness. What you feel and visualize in those 60 seconds is imprinted with a force that would be impossible to achieve during the day. But be careful. It's not enough to just think about what you want. You must embody the version of yourself that already possesses it. And from that state, ask a question. Not to get an immediate answer, but to implant a command in the subconscious. Examples. How is it possible that everything has started to work so perfectly? Why is it so natural for me to live in abundance now? What is emerging in my life that shows everything is already in its place? When you ask this question, you must feel the answer as if it were already true. Visualize the scene, the colors, the sounds, the setting. Feel the relief, the gratitude, the certainty. And let this vibration expand until you fall asleep within it. The crucial detail is this: you must fall asleep immersed in this identity. Do not interrupt the process with random thoughts. Don't let your mind return to everyday worries. The emotion of fulfilled desire must be the last thing your consciousness touches before surrendering to sleep. By repeating this process night after night, your subconscious begins to accept this new version of yourself as reality. And automatically, your perception, your behaviors, and external events will begin to reflect this change. It's not magic. It's conscious access to the most vulnerable and creative moment of your mental system. The sleeping mind is not passive. It's a powerhouse of creation. And you're about to learn how to use it. What you've just discovered isn't a technique to try once and forget. It's a principle that, if applied consistently, can rewrite the programs that have always governed your life. Reality isn't fixed. It is a reflection, and the reflection changes when the source changes. You are the source. Tonight, before you fall asleep, set aside 60 seconds. Relax. Breathe deeply. Enter into silence. Feel as though you are already living the life you desire. And then ask, with authority, what is revealing itself right now that shows that everything has already worked out for me? Feel the answer in your body, and fall asleep within that vibration. Tomorrow, stay alert. Something will happen. A sign, a shift, a confirmation. Don't ignore it. Acknowledge it. Give thanks. And keep going. You're not waiting for reality to change. You're activating the inner code that compels reality to respond. If this message resonated with something inside you, leave a comment with the question you'll use tonight. Share this video with someone who needs to remember the power they possess, and subscribe to the channel if you want to continue this journey together. The technique is simple, but simplicity doesn't mean ease. It means there are no more excuses. There's only one question. Are you ready to use it?